Hello everybody, my name is NettySuperGuy, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than Friday the 13th for once. So, I love the Far Cry series, okay? It's one of my favorite series besides Grand Theft Auto. It's one of my favorite series. It's amazing. I've loved every game in the series. Yeah, I just love the games. And now with Far Cry 5 coming out, or already came out, I thought, why not count down my top 6 favorites? There is 6 main games, so yeah. 3 things I want to note before this, though. I will be counting only the 3 main games, so not Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon or any of the other ones. I don't really know the others, to be honest. There's more, though. There's other ones, too. If you Google Far Cry franchise or something like that, you'll probably see a bunch of other titles, and I'm not counting any of those, just like I did for the Call of Duty video. And also, I have not actually played Far Cry 1 or 2, but they're still on this list. But I feel like I've seen enough gameplay. I kind of know what and how they work, so even if I play them, I think they'd still be in the same place as the list. So I'm just going to put them on the list anyway. And last but not least, this is, of course, my opinion. So if your favorite Far Cry isn't number 1, I'm sorry. I'm glad you enjoy another one that my favorite isn't. You know what I mean? That was really bad English. You know what I mean? But it's my opinion. Okay, don't get salty in the comments or anything like that. Thank you. Anyway, let's start off the list. So we're starting off with number 6, which is the game that started it all, Far Cry. Just Far Cry, not Far Cry 1. That sounds weird. You know, we're not like Battlefield that doesn't know how numbers work. Anyway, yeah, not a lot to say about this game, to be honest. I mean, this game started it all. It had very linear environments and stuff. Not an open world game, but just all very big levels, I guess you could say. It looks like a very nice game. I don't think I'll ever play it, but it looked nice. It kind of looked like Half-Life. That's what I thought, anyway. Yeah, so I don't really have much to say about that game, because, well, I haven't really played it. But anyway, yeah, let's move on to the next game, which is number 5, which is going to be Far Cry 2. So this game I know a little bit more about, and I know that it was amazing. Yeah, it was a really nice game. It took place in Africa. The guns were very nice, and it was insanely realistic. The guns could actually like jam and stuff, and I loved it. It looked really nice, and I am definitely gonna play this at some point. I don't know when I'll play it, but I'm definitely going to play it. The graphics are really nice for its time, especially. Yeah, yeah, that's all I have to say. The animals were cool and stuff like that. So yeah, let's move on to the next game. And now these 4 are the games that I actually, have played. So yeah. At number 4, we got, of course, Far Cry 4. Now, this might anger some people, because Far Cry 4 is a really good game. I love Far Cry 4, but it wasn't, out of the games that I have played, it's my least favorite, just because it really just felt like Far Cry 3, more on that later, wink. It really just felt like Far Cry 3, just almost downgraded a little bit. It had most of the same guns, just different looks to them, different textures, and it just felt like Far Cry 3. Even the voice actor for the main character, Ajay, sounded almost exactly like Jason, which is strange. And yeah, I felt like the story wasn't as good. The villain definitely wasn't as good, but I mean, he was still really good, I thought. Pagan Min. I thought he was a pretty cool villain. He was pretty funny and stuff. And I liked how the main character and the villain kind of didn't really hate each other, in a sense. Like, they kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but some people might know what I mean. They didn't really seem like they hated each other that much. And, I mean, the Yeti DLC was cool. The map was really nice. All the mountains, the location was nice. But the story was just really weak. It seemed almost boring. All the choices. The ending was actually really bad. I'm not going to talk about the ending, though, because it's spoilery. But yeah, I really didn't like the ending, to be honest. It seemed really boring for a cool game like that. So, yeah. Sadly, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, let's move on to number 3, which is going to be Far Cry Primal. Now here's where everyone's going to get mad. Far Cry Primal, a lot of people say, is a terrible game. I don't think it's that bad. I thought it was actually an amazing game. And the reason it's higher than Far Cry 4 is I have more memories in it than Far Cry 4, to be honest. Like, I remember getting the Saber-Tooth Tiger and riding it around and liberating all the outposts and stuff and doing the story. The story was weak, I will say. The story was kind of boring, and they were telling a story with subtitles, which is a thing a lot of people judge the game for. They don't actually speak English the entire game, which was a bad idea, to be honest. It wasn't good. That wasn't a good idea. But I loved all the characters. They were very underused, sadly, but I loved all the characters. They were really good. Your main character was basically just a guy with a beard. He wasn't very important at all. But yeah, I love the combat. Everything about that game, almost everything, was amazing. It was so good, and I 100% liked it more than Far Cry 4. And yeah, I just played it like last year too, because I didn't get it the year it came out because everyone said it was bad. Apparently I shouldn't have listened to everyone because it was great. I love the crap out of it. It was amazing. What else do I gotta say? The map was similar to Far Cry 4, but it's fine. Yeah, I think the map looked beautiful. There were some shots in that game that looked absolutely amazing. I loved all the enemies. The heavies had like bones and crap on them. The villains were kind of cool. The ending was not the best, but it was still a good ending, I'd say. And it was a nice thing to wait for Far Cry 5. Speaking of, by the way, at number 2, we have Far Cry 5. This game, I'm not even finished this game yet, but it is an amazing game. This game is like, oh my goodness. It is such a good game. The number 2 and number 1, which if you know the Far Cry franchise, it's kind of obvious what number 1's going to be. But number 2 and number 1 were very hard to decide over because Far Cry 5 was just that good. It's such an amazing game. I don't know why I'm saying was. I'm still playing it. It's so good. It's an amazing game. I don't care what anybody says. It's an amazing game. So they took out the mini-map, and it kind of forced you to explore a bit more. And it didn't really... And instead of showing you the roads on the mini-map, which was what I was scared about, it puts a nice little waypoint on the road itself, which... Some people might not like that because it takes away from the realism, but I don't care. And the cars are really nice. Everything about this game is absolutely amazing. The villain, honestly, the villain isn't that memorable. He's not as memorable as other villains in the other games. Even Far Cry Primal's villain, like I find him not as memorable so far. Maybe it'll get better. As I said, I'm not done the game. I don't know, but so far I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of memorable lines like Pagan Min or anybody else. Yeah. The gun selection, amazing. I love the new roster thing with Nick Rai and Boomer and Grace and the other ones. I don't know the rest. I've only played that much through the game. I've defeated John Seed and that's it. The way the game works is you start in this little tiny island in the middle, and when I say tiny, I mean tiny. It's this super small island in the middle, and then you expand out to one of the 3 islands, and then you go to these. They're not islands. They're not islands, actually. They're just big zones. You go to one of these places, and then you do that. You do the side missions and all the story missions, and it kind of blends together the side missions and the story missions together really seamlessly, and it's actually a really nice way of doing things, I find. I always found that really nice. But yeah, and it's completely like you choose where you go. You can choose what places you want to go to first. I think it's an amazing game. It's doing everything really well. It's kind of taking things from Breath of the Wild. Actually, it's not, but it reminds me of Breath of the Wild. The reason I say it's not is because it was actually being made before Breath of the Wild even got announced. Or not announced, but like, you know, before it came out and before we saw how all of this exploration stuff works. So it didn't really take anything from Breath of the Wild like people say. Anyway, that's really all I gotta say for that game, because now we got number 1. But before that, I do want to mention Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was an amazing game. Also, it was a super good game. It was hilarious. The nice missions. I really want to see bring us a sequel to that game, please. It was such a good game. I want to just mention that game real quick. just because it was that good. I know it said it wouldn't be in the list, but I still wanted to mention it because it's just so good. Anyway, let's continue on to number 1, which is, of course, Far Cry 3. Could it be anything else? Everything about that game, 10 out of 10. Everything, amazing. Everything is good. The villains, all 3 of the villains, amazing. Of course, Vaas, did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? I can't do the voice, but you know what I mean. Just don't even get me started on that game, okay? I could literally talk about Far Cry 3 for hours straight. It is such an amazing game. It's a masterpiece. It's up there with GTA. It might be level with GTA. GTA 5 I'm talking about. It did everything right. Oh my god, if there was a co-op mode in that game, it would be higher than GTA 5. It would be so much higher than GTA 5. Oh my god, man, I just love that game so much. Every mission was fun. I loved every single mission in that game. I can't say that about a lot of games, okay? I cannot say that. I can't think of any other games I can say that to, except for, like, I don't know. I can't think of any. That's the only game I can think of. All the Oppos, it was kind of the game that made the series more popular. Like, it was already pretty popular with Far Cry 2, and then when Far Cry 3 came out, it just skyrocketed, and everybody was playing it. It's such an amazing game. I cannot get enough of it, and I may or may not be buying the Season Pass for Far Cry 5 just for the Classic Edition of Far Cry 3 on the PS4. $40 is worth it, okay? I want that game again. Oh my god. It did everything correctly. It honestly did. Every character is amazing. Jason's storyline is amazing. The 2 endings, both are really good. Obviously, the good ending is the best. But, oh my goodness. I could never stop talking about this game. Vaas, amazing villain. I'm never going to forget that villain. He's amazing. He was perfect for that game. Perfect level of insanity. I've never said that before. But yeah, perfect level of insanity. It's just, I love that game. All the guns, it made me just fall in love with the Far Cry games just automatically. And I've played every single game since. And I've almost beat every game since. I've beat Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I've beat Far Cry 4, Far Cry Prime 1. I'm on my way to Far Cry 5 beating that. So, yeah, I love Far Cry 3. It's 100% the best Far Cry game. Some people like Far Cry 4 better. Some people say Far Cry 5 is their favorite, but I say Far Cry 3. That's the OG. That's the first one I played. I have so many memories on that game. The first time coming in contact with a crocodile, crap my pants. Pants were ruined that day. That was awful. I'm a lot smarter now, and I know where they spawn, and they don't usually scare me as much. Sometimes they get me by surprise, but not really. But that and the sharks, terrifying creatures. I stay out of the oceans because of them. All the animals are great. Tiger. I remember the tiger. If you see one of those, you just dash. You're out of there. But oh my, yeah. I think that's all I have to say about Far Cry 3, though. I don't want to go on too much, but yeah, I love Far Cry 3. It's amazing. I loved all the other games, but Far Cry 3 definitely is at the top spot for me, and it will always be. I don't care what comes out. Far Cry 3 will always be number 1. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully I can get good gameplay for all those games. Anyway, yeah. If you like this video, click the subscribe button. Click the bell icon because I try and upload as frequently as possible. And also click the like button if you did enjoy, because that just tells me you enjoyed this video, and that helps me a lot. So, anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.